the National Legends Cars Championship in association with Park Lane Cars. Welcome to our third programme in the 2022 National Legends Cars Championship Series, brought to you by Park Lane Cars. Yesterday, a joint victory for Miles Rudman and Will Gibson. Miles getting the verdict overall by a single overtake. And it's Miles Rudman that leads the championship coming into today, from John Mickle in second, Sean Smith third, and Steve Whiteleg fourth from Will Gibson and Chris Needham. Preparations ongoing in the paddock for a second day of action here at Brands Hatch. Let's join Chris down in the paddock. He's talking to Will Gibson.
Talk us through how you're feeling ahead of today's round.
Yeah, today should go well. Last time out we had an absolute cracker. Third place, 2 wins. Yeah, it was a solid day. It was a lot of hard work building the new car up. You know, I can't say enough of my sponsors, the Elsons, Black Hers Limited, Blue Sky CAD, TWG. You know, they've helped us build a brand new car, and it's absolutely rapid.
We've got Chris Needham here doing stunningly well in the championship at the moment in the team car. So, last time out here at Brands Hatch was a fairly good run for you. So, you confident ahead of today's races?
Yeah, we had a really good day yesterday. Someone obviously thought I did well because we got driver of the day. We just got some solid, consistent finishes really. We're still trying to set up with the new car because it's a brand new car this year. But yeah, I'm looking forward to today because the last race I think we found some pace. So hopefully we carry that into today and some more good races.
Wow, through real constant and consistent results, you're right up there, third in the championship at the moment. Was that on the agenda before coming into Brands Hatch last time out?
To be perfectly honest, no it wasn't. I just thought I'd plug away, do what we normally do. I mean, the guys prepare a superb car at Brisbane Motorsport, so I'm quite happy with what I've got underneath me, and obviously the results are showing it, just consistency, I think.
What a great start to your season.
Yeah, no, it's been a good start to Brands Hatch. We had mixed fortunes at Alton Park, and we've turned it around a little bit yesterday, and hopefully today we can get some more points. But the quick steel car's quite quick. We just needed a bit more power out of it, so we've put a new engine in it for today, and hopefully that will be the difference between thirds and fourths, and maybe we'll get some firsts and seconds.
Managed to get hold of Charlie Budd, one of the 2 Budd brothers that are out here in the Legends. So last time out here in Brands Hatch, your results were steadily getting better. It's been a bit of a mixed season between you and your brother. So how are you feeling ahead of today's races?
Yeah, really good, really confident. We're building confidence every time we get in the car. We've jumped on board with Craig at Pro 24 and Miles, and do you know what, they've absolutely transformed it and really helped us go in the right direction. So really pleased with everything.
More of the same again today, you looking forward to?
Exactly that, yeah. It's I don't want to run before I can walk, but we'll move forward steadily, and Legends is an amazing learning curve, and I've been racing my whole life, but nothing like this. This is a whole different thing, and it's starting from scratch, but the guys in the paddock are great, and the racing's fantastic, so yeah, really looking forward to it.
Mr. Clark!
Hello.
Well, that's not a bad way to start the day, is it?
Not really. Depends if it's going to go late the season so far and go backwards. No,
it's been a bit of a rough one for you so far, but how's the feeling? Is it cautious optimism going into today?
Yeah, unfortunately the actual front clip on the car is bent and we can't do anything about it because we're here. After hitting Nathan head on yesterday coming out of here, it's just score points, I think that's all we can do, and roll on for Pembury.
There's a little bit of a queue forming behind John Mickle there. And John, I think, has got a problem. That's not what we want. One of the top drivers, second in the championship, John Mickle, trying to pull the car over to the side. He's gesticulating, I think, maybe to the marshals to get him off track. Now, he was due to line up third on the grid. The draw for grid position saw Dan Clark getting pole. We heard from him, not happy with his car, but he'll do what he can. Chris Brockhurst alongside row 2 should have been John Mickle and teammate Paul Simmons. Another teammate, Mike Schlupp, on row 3 with Nathan Anthony in the van. We've got 2 rookies moving forward, joining the main group, having passed their apprenticeship of 6 finishes. The quick steel car being pushed away. Definitely not what John or indeed us viewers want at this early stage of the season, a DNF for the multi-champion. Now in the draw, Will Gibson has drawn very close to Miles Rudman in the black number 1, the reigning champion. Those two in round 2 were tied on points, so we can expect them to be battling all day as they're drawn the same part of the grid. But it's Dan Clark and Chris Brockhurst leading them down towards lights out here at Brands Hatch. Brockhurst gets slightly the better start. Paul Simmons in third, about to be challenged by Nathan Anthony in the blue and yellow Sevan, side by side around Druids. Then I think we've got Mike Schlupp, Ollie Schlupp, the rookie in the blue and orange number 3 is there. Watch the black number 1, right of shot of Miles Rudman, past about 3 cars going up Halewoods Hill into Druids on the outside. Steve Whiteleg doing an outside leg run as well. Nick Bridgman in the blue 68 led round 2's final before a mechanical problem put paid to that, but is showing very quick pace, Nick Bridgman. In car with Marcus Pett. Ollie Schlupp in front of us following his dad, then Steve Whiteleg in the red WTBS car gets a little bit sideways. They come out of Surtees into McLaren. 25 car is Luke Simmons, the black and green car on the outside of the all-green BT Motorsport Park Lane cars. There's a problem for Nathan Anthony. Looks like the engine on the 29 Sevan has gone. He's pulling up safely, one has to say, or as safely as possible, to the right-hand side of the track as Will Gibson launches the 57 car around the outside. I think that was Marcus Pett to his inside. It is Marcus trying to pass Ollie Schlupp. So it's Chris Brockhurst out front from Dan Clark. Dan battling the car, the 2020 champion, not having great fortune at the start of the season, but if he can get everything sorted, can maybe have a good run. Pembrey next time. Back to Brands Hatch for the American Speed Fest. Sean Smith kicks up some dirt, running a little bit wide there. And Nathan's car being moved to safety by the marshals, doing a terrific job as ever. Now let's have a look. In car with James Newbury. Oh, now is there fluid down that Bill Reed gets caught on? I tell you what, James Newbury did very well there. It is very difficult to know where to place the car. Bill Reed did well too. And Bill is still going with James Newbury, so those two live to fight another day, and hopefully will resume their battle from round 2, which was very entertaining. Marcus Pett, right of shot, being followed by Andy Bird in 30, and then Will Gibson, who again loves the outside under the Burton Bridge in towards Druids. Andy Bird to his inside. Mark Beattie racing with his brother Kieran, who grabbed the lap record yesterday. Kieran in the orange 33 car. Had a non-finish in the final as Miles Rudman grabs the lead. Rudman is through and into lead position. Chris Brockhurst relegated to second. Dan Clark now in third. And Rudman's come, I think, from a fair way back down the grid. We saw the onboard from Will Gibson. So Rudman here is going to be a very difficult driver to catch or indeed displace on current form. There is Rudman. Chris Brockhurst, though, running as a satellite team to the Mickle Motorsport outfit, and Chris, as I've mentioned before, an ex-Super Silhouette driver, knows Brands Hatch extremely well, and this his second season with Legends Cars. Was front runner in the rookies last year. Andy Bird, the reigning rookie champion, and Andy looking to score good points. Nice to see Andy Bird back out. There were thoughts that he might not make it this weekend, but Andy is there as we look at Kieran Beattie up ahead of Mark Beattie. Then it is Luke Simmons who switches over from the short oval Superstocks category into circuit racing with Legends, and down the inside of Mike Schlupp goes Sean Smith in the 21, following Andy Bird that we were talking about earlier on with the Go Faster stripes. Andy will probably have a chuckle at that because I don't think he thinks the car's quick enough for him at the moment, but nonetheless Andy is there, which is great news. Chris Needham at the back as well, we heard from in the interviews, the black and red 99, looking to work his way through the field as well. And Charlie Budd in the 44 car. Wonderful to see Charlie in the top 10 of the points. He's 8th at the moment, just behind Marcus Pett, who dropped down the order with that DNF in the race yesterday. So down the hill, things settling down rather well actually this Legends Cars race at the moment. Not, you have to say, for Nathan Anthony, who also lost Nick Bridgman from this one as well, which is a pity. So Nick Bridgman, 2 races on the bounce for the driver of car number 68, double retirement. Normally, in terms of a championship, if you're thinking about championship wins, I think the most number of DNFs is 3. And as far back as I've looked on the records, that was Dean Brace secured the championship with 3 DNFs a good few years ago. As Marcus Pett tees up Paul Simmons, side by side, they'll look ahead. They've got Steve Whiteleg immediately ahead of them. Marcus Pett makes it through on the inside of Paul Simmons. Sean Smith trying to follow through as well. Now John Mickle's back out on track, so good news for the championship as a whole. He's, I think, a lap or so adrift, but whatever it is has been sorted, and John is out there. And you may wonder why, but if you start the race and non-finish, you get 5 points. If you finish the race, you'll get 10 points. So it is well worth starting the race, as Ollie Schlupp puts Charlie Budd under pressure. Ollie will be vying for rookie championship honours because you have to have 6 races starting off the back until you finish 6 races. It's going to be pretty few and far between that we get a rookie taking the outright championship. So Will Gibson now challenging for second. Chris Brockhurst is there. They bump draft, and Will breaks away from that, nips down the inside. Nice, neat move, textbook legend stuff from Will Gibson. I'm talking calmly about it, but that was a fantastic move. And Chris Brockhurst now might work with Will Gibson, try and hunt down Miles Rudman. I tell you what, I thought Rudman was going to walk away with this one, but Will Gibson looking sharp. Chris Brockhurst off the front looking good as well. BT's followed by Luke Simmons. Good amount of rookies this year in the championship. Daniel Pauley, Luke Simmons, Ben Higgins and Ollie Schlupp. And we'll have more for you from Brands after the break. Miles Rudman in black, the leader, black and blue 57. Will Gibson in second place. Chris Brockhurst is third. Behind them, Daniel Clark, we might just see come into shot. So Daniel's still there from the red 66 of Steve Whiteleg in fifth place. It's the number 1, the defending champion. I tell you what, Will Gibson's getting closer, closing up here, getting into the draft, and showed the 57 car in the side mirror of the number 1. Will was making the comment about the eyes on the front of number 1, looming in his mirrors yesterday. There you can see the eyes. Number 1 car, it's a blank canvas, isn't it, really, for sponsors. The champion, I'm sure, would interested, as indeed most of the grid would be interested in talking to potential sponsors. But number 1, oh, and problems for Charlie Budd, was 8th in the championship. Has a little gyration at Druids, don't know if he was helped there or not. But back on track is Charlie Budd, just to the just outside the top 20. Now Will Gibson, there's no doubt Will Gibson's closed the gap, and I suspect he's going to make a challenge. Does he get into bump drafting? No, he doesn't. He wants to just get straight on with the job in hand, which is go to the inside as they come up to Paddock Hill Bend. Now, if you watched round 2, you'll know that we saw 2 side-by-side photo finishes. One of the races actually had 3 cars for the lead side-by-side. There were plenty of other photo finishes down the field as well. So Miles Rudman, although he's lost the lead, will know that if he times it right, he might be able to get a run off of the final corner on the last lap to come back at Will Gibson. We'll see how it all unfolds. This, incidentally, the 1200th National Legends Cars race. Incredible to think we've had 1,200 races now of National Legends Cars racing over the years since it started. And Rudman putting the 57 car under pressure. Chris Brockhurst driving a stonker here. Are we going to see a career best for Chris Brockhurst? He's had quite a few 4th places in his career, hasn't been on the podium as far as the race is concerned yet. I'll tell you what, he's got a good lead over Steve Whiteleg. I think he's showing in red. Next up, in car with Marcus Pett. Steve Whiteleg about to lose 4th as they go on to the last place. Will he lose 5th as well? Marcus Pett's in the mix. At the back of that quartet is Chris Needham. Super racing all the way through the field. A gap between the first trio in this battle for 4th. Daniel Clark's doing very well here in terms of damage limitation. Outside leg goes for it again. Steve Whiteleg, one of the older drivers in the field, but age is no barrier to successful Legends cars racing, believe you me. So Will Gibson there, they're closing up on Bill Reid, who had that awful moment on the main straight. Thankfully kept the car away from the concrete barrier, which was good news. As Miles Rudman starts to look up the inside, here they come! Out of Clark curve, Bill Reid sticks to the outside again, great driving from the 333, and it's Rudman challenging, but Rudman goes to the inside, it's going to be side by side to the flag again, and Will Gibson takes it from Miles Rudman. Chris Brockhurst gets a maiden podium, congratulations to them. Daniel Clark 4th from Steve Whiteleg, with Chris Needham just getting the better of Marcus Pett. Sean Smith in 8th place. Another cracking Legends Cars race. And these two, apart from Will Gibson having a nightmare at Alton Park, and we'll come back to that comment. Gibson the winner and fastest lap, Miles Rudman second, Chris Brockhurst third from Daniel Clark, Steve Whiteleg, Chris Needham, Marcus Pett 7th from Sean Smith, then Mike Schlupp and Andy Bird into the top 10. Mark Beattie ahead of top rookies, Ollie Schlupp ahead of Luke Simmons, then Kieran Beattie, Paul Simmons in 15th from Matthew Knight and Daniel Budd, Ben Higgins 18th from Luke Takushis, Gary Whiteleg 20th from Charlie Budd, Daniel Pauley, James Newberry, Stuart McAndrew, Bill Reid and John Mickle completing the race finishers. Will Gibson, that's his 3rd race win on the bounce here at Brands Hatch. Let's catch up with our top trio.
But that did not look straightforward at all.
Yeah, that was very hairy. Nathan, unfortunately, had a technical problem and put a lot of oil on the track, and I thought I was in the pit wall. I was full lock left trying to save it on the start line. Yeah, just took my time, worked through them, called up to Miles, and it's a great race, good way. That's 3 in a row now. I'm happy.
I can imagine so. So, where is that going to put you for race number 2 then?
We'll probably be 7th or 8th on the grid. We started 13th, so 7th or 8th, I think. So, yeah, we'll try and do it again. You had quite a lot of passing to do. Yeah. It looked like you were going to run off with it at one point.
Yeah, it's just like you say. I mean, it was a good race, and we're finishing the top 3 again. So, we're happy with that.
That's why you're the champion. You made quite a habit of it last season out. You were a rookie last season, so that's the year before, I beg your pardon. So, this last year you dominated it, and you're looking to do the same again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're looking to do the same again, like you say. But we'll just keep racing and keep putting it on the podium if we can. So.
Well, there's a way to start the weekend. You didn't seem too convinced when we spoke to you with the holding area. You're going to hang on to it, and look at you now.
No, it's a great result for us. It's our best result yet. We were struggling with a few setup issues yesterday, but we're working hard with Mickle Motorsport. Giving me a great car, well chuffed for that.
Yeah, so Alton Park was a bit of a mixture for you, I think it's fair to say, but wow, look, great momentum coming into Brands Hatch. More of the same? Are we going to see you up here for the rest of the day?
It's a bit different now for the second race because it's reversed, and like I said at the start, it's such a close championship, and if we can fight our way through and get up into the top 10, that'd be great.
We've got the pilot of the number 32, Dan Pauley, rookie for this season. Been a bit of a rough start, but how are you finding everything so far?
Been a bit up and down so far this year, but we had 2 finishes yesterday. Just finished the first one today. Had a bit of sideways yesterday on 2 wheels, so I'm glad we put the car back together and it went not too bad.
So style points, if nothing else. So
yeah, we've got some style points. Yeah, they don't do trophies for that though.
That's a bit of a shame. Yeah. So Alton Park was rough. Sadly, you didn't see the flag, but I take it. So for your maiden season, you're just looking to bring the car home. You're not.
Keep it in one bit. Try and keep it in one bit. We had 2 engine failures at Alton, which we seem to have solved that issue now. So just move forward and carry on, trying to finish. And try and keep out of everyone's way.
Excellent stuff. So again, you're looking to stay with the season. You enjoying your time with the Legends so far?
Yeah, well, I am. Yeah, it's been good fun. We all met up last night in the garages and had a chit chat and that. So yeah, it was enjoyable. But just want to say thanks to everybody for the help and support we've had. It's been very good. Mum and Dad's business helping, you know, along the way. And yeah, family-wise, there couldn't be no better.
Cars coming on track for our second race of round 3. However, problem sadly for Mike Schlupp, who needs to be low-loaded away. Mike is okay, the car isn't, so no points for Mike in this race. Front of the grid, Kieran Beattie with Daniel Budd on the front row, Sean Smith and Nick Bridgman on row 2, Chris Needham and Gary Whiteleg on row 3. Ready for lights out here. Daniel Budd creeping ahead. That could be an out of position start. Nick Bridgman went with him. They get underway. Kieran Beattie down to 3rd from 8th on the grid. The black and blue of Will Gibson already up into 5th place on the outside, followed by Sean Smith in white and blue. Then Marcus Pett, Miles Rudman behind him as well. Marcus Pett on the outside. Here we come up into Druids for the first time. Gibson challenging for the lead on the outside, but it's Nick Bridgman. 2 DNFs on the bounce for him. Won't thank me for reminding him of that. Bridgman the leader, but for how long? Because here comes Will Gibson down through on the inside, and back from 8th on the grid. He described the car as a rocket ship in round 2. I think the driver has a lot to do with it as well. So it is Will Gibson. Sean Smith follows through into 2nd. So Smith 2nd. 3rd place now is Nick Bridgman, followed by Gary Whiteleg. Beattie brothers still together. There, 85 Mark, 33 Kieran. Oh, Kieran goes wide, off onto the gravel. Coming out in sympathy as well is Gary Whiteleg. So Gary Whiteleg is off the track, and his 3rd row start is going to have to recover from there. Daniel Pooley dicing with Bill Reid. No oil, I don't think, greeting Bill Reid and company this time on the main straight. Nice to hear from Daniel Pooley before the race. So Sean Smith in 3rd. It's Chris Needham 4th. Steve Whiteleg again impressive there in 5th place in these. Always at the front, Steve Whiteleg. I think had a decent draw again, but he's making the most of those. That's what you have to do. Nathan Anthony in the mix as well. There is Miles Rudman, was 11th on the grid for this one. Will Gibson 8th. So Miles Rudman not having as good an opening lap as Will Gibson. So into McLaren and round into Surtees. Ollie Schlupp following Miles Rudman. Daniel Clark in behind, not doing too badly as well at the moment. Rudman to the outside, passes Marcus Pett. So the black car now setting about the Budd brothers. Charlie in white is bump drafting his brother. Marcus Pett looks to try and follow through. There's no room on the inside. Miles Rudman, you can see, has gone for the outside line in black. I think Marcus Pett's going to try the inside. Charlie Budd might be the faster option to follow as they go into Druids. That's what Marcus does. I think he read that well, and that's in the tyre wall. There is Chris Needham in the 99 car. Very briefly saw Chris Needham out of the race. Now he was a front runner. Now did he get tagged? Has he gone off on some oil? I don't know what's happened. There is Chris, he's out of the car and okay. Bit of damage on the front end of the car. Chris is okay, the car is not. It's going to be a DNF. First one of the season for Chris Needham. He has had a lowly finish in race 1 at Alton Park. Now is there fluid down? We've got a fluid flag just been withdrawn. Behind you can see a waved yellow. That caught Charlie Budd out. I'm wondering if that's why we saw both Kieran Beattie and also Gary Whiteleg go wide there. The other driver seemed to have got away with it or mastered the conditions there. Marcus Pett busy challenging Mark Beattie. You'll see that you can try that outside run here at Druids, and if you can maintain the grip on the outside, you then got the inside as they pass the stricken 99 car, the inside run down into Graham Hill Bend, which is where they are now. So John Mickle having a better run in this one. I think he is from 18th on the grid, and so he's caught Miles Rudman, who is 11th. So this is a good run from the multi-champion John Mickle, chasing double champion Miles Rudman in the number 1, and ahead of them it is Nathan Anthony in the Savannah having a better race too. Fascinating to watch John Mickle and Miles Rudman having a good battle here, and John tees up the inside, thinks about having a look at Paddock, but Nathan Anthony is in front of the number 1 car at the moment. Through as they go, there is a gap on the inside, but I don't think Miles Rudman's got the momentum to go through, so Nathan retains position. Now there's a gap here at Graham Hill Bend. Miles Rudman is through, not quite the gap for John Mickle. Out of the race goes, that's Ben Higgins out of the race in car number 20, joining Chris Needham. We've also lost James Newbury and of course Mike Schluck we saw at the start of the race, so 4 drivers not picking up any points, or any finishing points at least in this race, as John Mickle now has a go at Nathan Anthony side by side along the main straight into Paddock Hill Bend. John might go for the cutback out of Paddock. Marcus Pett is immediately behind. Let's see if Marcus gets a view of the pass. Nathan moves across, leaves a little bit of room, and is John going to be a bit more efficient on the brakes? He is, makes it through. There's waved yellows there. I think John got the move completed just before that was a well-timed move, just before the yellow flags came into play. And Nathan loses position. Marcus Pett chasing after him, then it's Mark Beattie followed by Daniel Clark in the 14. So Daniel in the top 10 in this one. Ollie Schluck is next, he's top rookie, the orange and blue car. Steve Whiteleg busy chasing Nick Bridgman. Further towards the front, it's still Will Gibson leading this race, and Will here could make it 4 wins on the bounce. I don't think we've seen that. Double waved yellows there as they cross the line once again. So Nick Bridgman running well, and Miles Rudman through on the inside, side by side here with Steve Whiteleg. Is Miles going to get the position? He'll be mindful of the yellows up at Druids where they were last time around. Gibson and Smith through in 1 and 2. This is for 3rd place. It's Nick Bridgman driving well here, I've got to say. Miles Rudman slots through into 4th place ahead of Steve Whiteleg. So Steve down into 6th position at the moment. Paul Simmons up ahead of Daniel Clark slowing. Andy Bird goes past. Luke Simmons goes past as well. It's a hand out of the window for Daniel Clark. Miserable start to the season for him. Continues here at Brands Hatch. Hopefully he'll get things back underway when we are at Pembrey, which is going to be our next programme in the series. John Mickle now challenging Steve Whiteleg. Mickle puts the fixed steel car to the outside run. Gary Whiteleg about to pass Daniel Clark, who I think is pit bound. There he is, into pit lane safely. He'll be scratching his head as to what can be done, Daniel Clark, about that car. He knows that the car wasn't straight. You heard that in the interview earlier on in the programme. So we've got the 2 Bridgman Motorsport cars together, the blue of Nick Bridgman, and John Mickle looks on the inside of Steve Whiteleg down there at Graham Hill Bend onto Cooper Straight. Let's see whether Mickle can grab an inside run. Steve Whiteleg partially covering it. John goes for a wide line here and hoping to build momentum up, possibly here at McLaren, and maybe even more so out of Clearways, the corner where they are now, for the run onto the Bram Straight out of Clark Curve where they are now. Still close to Steve Whiteleg, and it could be a slingshot. He's carrying that momentum well, and here comes Mickle. You can see how thought out that move was. Gets the position over Steve Whiteleg. John Mickle up into 5th place. Ben Higgins' car, I'm surprised we've got yellows there. The organisers, the race control, doing everything they can not to deploy the safety car and keep the flow of the meeting and the racing going for the drivers. The drivers will have seen that Ben Higgins' car is there, so it's not going to cause a huge problem. Now, could John Mickle get up on towards the podium, or before that, getting to 4th position, with Nick Bridgman having a decent race here in the 68. This is potentially Nick's best finish of the season so far. So 1 top 10, a 10th place, race 3 at Alton Park, the reverse grid race, but this one is a balloted front grid start, so doing a good job is Nick Bridgman, and Mickle goes to that outside line as he did on Bridgman's teammate on the previous lap. He's going to take 4th position here. Will Gibson is on the final lap. Miles Rudman's got the fastest lap in this one, incidentally, 55.179. So it's Gibson leading by a couple of seconds from Sean Smith. Miles Rudman is in 3rd. Here comes Miles. Then John Mickle in the number 4. So Gibson from 8th on the grid, Sean Smith from 3rd, Miles Rudman from 11th, and John Mickle from 18th. Remember, the grid's drawn by ballot, so these guys have all worked hard, including Nick Bridgman, who started in 4th position on the grid and has run very well indeed with some very quick drivers. Mickle looking safe in 4th. I don't think we're going to get a photo finishing this one, but you know what? The drivers have earned a bit of a break. Past the oil line, you can see on track, and Gibson takes a 4th win in succession in the championship. Sean Smith 2nd, Miles Rudman is 3rd, a gap of about 4 seconds back to Miles. John Mickle 4th, Nick Bridgman 5th from Steve Whiteleg. Nathan Anthony finally gets some decent points in 7th place ahead of Marcus Pett. They're still racing right the way down the order. We're looking at Daniel Budd in the 47 car, is going to pick up a penalty for that out of position start, and that will drop him down the order, I think, into 20th, 21st, but no mistaking, a 4th win on the bounce for Will Gibson from Sean Smith. Miles Rubman 3rd and fastest lap from John Mickle. Nick Bridgman next, then Steve Whiteleg, Nathan Anthony, Marcus Pett, Mark Beattie and Ollie Schlupp. Top rookie once again, completing the top 10 for Paul Simmons and Andy Bird. Luke Simmons was 2nd rookie from Kieran Beattie 14th, then Chris Brockhurst, Matthew Knight in 16th from Charlie Budd and Luke Takushis. 19th, Gary Whiteleg from Daniel Pauley. The finishes completed by Daniel Budd, Bill Reid and Stuart McAndrew.
Well, fancy seeing you here again, Will.
Making a habit of this, aren't we?
Well, let's face it, it's a pretty good habit to get into. Well, again, once you've gotten clear of Sean right behind you, that looked like it was a fair scrap, but then towards the end his challenge a bit faded. Do you ever kind of let off the gas, or is it still trying to push the accelerator through the firewall?
Not when I can still see them behind, I don't let off. I think Sean was struggling with the oil through the last corner, so I could see where it was, and I changed my line a lot just for that oil, and we seemed to pull away from him coming out of that corner, but that was a cracker, that was.
Well, my goodness me, what a scrap you had for the top spot with Will.
Yeah, it was good. Car started to go off near the end, but we managed to get away and just try to stay with him and do a bit more. We've been working on the car all weekend, so it just seems to be getting better and better. So
I was going to say, looking at the round, the results from the previous round here at Brands, it's been upwards and upwards and upwards. You were 8th in race 1. Top spot surely is beckoning.
Yeah, that's it. We'll see what we can do in this one now and go again, make some more adjustments, back out again.
When are you ever off the podium, sir?
Yeah, I mean, it's just close race again. It's found it a little bit tough to get through the traffic that time, so by the time I got through, it was too late. Will and Sean was already gone, so it was a bit tough at that time, but still managed to get on the podium, like you say, so a good race.
Still looking good for the championship. Are you thinking about the championship at this point, or is it too early to think about that?
Not really, no. Just trying to, do my best and enjoy the racing, really. But obviously, sometimes it crosses your mind. But try not to focus on it, to be honest. Just focus on the races and get the best positions we can.
We have got the pilot of the number 55, another rookie in the season. It is Luke Takushis. How are you finding Brands Hatch so far?
Yeah, Brands Hatch is good. We was here last November and already we've picked it up, got better times, better positioning. We've got to do the first 6 races at the back, obviously, so it's hard to keep up with the front runners, but we're doing well. We're picking up some paces, starting 28th, getting to the top 20s, so that's what we're aiming for at the minute.
Is there a particular target in mind, or just bringing it home in one piece?
That's for this season, just bringing it home in one piece. Don't want to, the more time on track, the better confidence and the better experience you get. But the kind of aim is to get in the top 20s, top 15s. When we're in the pack, that'll be a lot more easier, hopefully. But like I said, the main aim is to be on the pace and to keep it on the track.
Good man, good man. You've got a lot of experience to learn from everybody else. Are you finding that the paddock is really supportive of particularly newcomers such as yourself?
Yeah, definitely. Everyone's really friendly, especially our team, Mickle Motorsport. They teach me a lot, especially John Mickle, who's been doing it for so long, learning off him. And I'm also in a team car this year as well, so my teammate is Lee Fitzpatrick. He's a former champion, so learning from him is good. He's doing 2 rounds this year and I'm going to do 6, so there we go.
Excellent stuff. We look forward to seeing your progress.
Pole position to Gary Whiteleg. Ben Higgins, first time off the front, I think, for him. Front row here at Brands Hatch. Then it's the Budd brothers, Charlie and Daniel. P3 and 4, Mike Schlupp and Kieran Beattie on row 3. Green flags are being waved, being paced very well here by Ben and Gary off the front. Lights go out, we're Legends Cars Racing. Daniel Budd breaks ranks from row 2, looks around the outside of Ben Higgins, Charlie Budd in white into second, but it's Gary Whiteleg that leads them into Paddock Hill Bend. Mike Schlupp is next up in the number 3 car. Then we've got Kieran Beattie in the 33, the yellow and blue Savannah of Nathan Anthony. Paul Simmons on the outside in the light blue 51. Nick Bridgman in the slightly darker light blue car, if that makes sense, is next up and challenging. Look at this, 3-4 wide as they come down Graham Hill into Graham Hill Bend for the first time. A little bit of contact, around goes Mark Beattie, bang, collected sadly by Matthew Knight. Those 2 cars for sure I think are going to be retirees in this one. Now hopefully they'll get moved. Now we're hearing that 2 other cars have gone off at the end of Cooper Straight, so the safety car is going to be deployed. Gary Whiteleg doing a super job for pole position. Very experienced driver Gary Whiteleg, back in the day. Now the good news is Mark Beattie's got going, but as we mentioned, 2 further cars are off track, one of which I think is Daniel Budd. So Chris Brockhurst, you can see a little bit of contact on the back end of Andy Bird. That wasn't malicious in any way, but the car's just checking up. And when you get that, there is the odd bit of contact going to happen. You can see there is Brockhurst one. Will Gibson threading his way through. Got caught up in round 2's final first start. You might remember yesterday that had much better luck coming through on the restart. This one's not going to be a total restart. We have got the safety car out, and it is Gary Whiteleg leading from Charlie Budd in the white car in second place, and in third place is John Mickle. More for you after the break. Welcome back to Brands Hatch. The safety car lights are off and the car comes into pit lane. It's Gary Whiteleg who will lead them around. It was a relatively short safety car, and as a result the field not as bunched up as we would normally see perhaps later on. The good restart from Gary Whiteleg and Charlie Budd in second position. John Mickle in third, with lights have been a little bit closer here as Nathan Anthony looks on the inside of Ben Higgins, being greeted by green flags at Paddock Hill Bend. Paul Simmons next up. The 2 Bridgman Motorsport teammates involved in a dice of the red car as Steve Whiteleg makes it around the outside. Sean Smith about to pass Nick Bridgman. Nick's still in position at the moment. Then we've got Miles Rudman and Will Gibson working their way through the field. And Mike Schlupp's got a problem going down the hill. Mike Schlupp in the number 3 car. A very, very disappointing meeting for Mike Schlupp. Really feel for him. That's going to be a second DNF. Smoke coming out of the number 3 car. A massive pity. One hopes that he'll get a decent weekend in Wales next time. Certainly deserves it with the luck he's had this weekend. Rudman and Gibson working their way through the field, and Mike Schlupp's car steaming. Are we going to maybe see another stoppage, because that car's not in the safest of places as racing continues for the moment? Gibson chasing Rudman on the inside of Paul Simmons here. Will follow through. Still Gary Whiteleg out front. The top 3 have closed down. We've got Nathan Anthony running well in the 29, having a much better run of things, but it's Gary Whiteleg out front at the moment. Marshall to attend to the Mike Schlupp car. Safety car is coming out so that can be safely dealt with. I think the officials left it just to see how things would pan out, but the safety car, in fact, a red flag, so the officials deciding that we'll have a restart. Tell you what, disappointing for Gary, and that's why as well Charlie Budd's car is still there. Matthew Knight's car stricken as well. So complete restart then. We've lost Bill Reid, Matthew Knight, Mark Beattie, Daniel Budd and Mike Schlupp. And this is take 2, but the good news for Gary Whiteleg is that he's still in front. The bad news is that John Mickle is closing on them, as too is Charlie Budd. Here comes Mickle into second position. Easily done down the inside at Paddock. He's going to go for the lead here. Gary Whiteleg the leader. Wide line from Gary. I think he knows that the inevitable is about to happen, and John Mickle through into lead position. Mickle the leader. Gary Whiteleg still there in second. The Bridgman cars having good strong running here at Brands Hatch. although Nick might beg to differ with the two DNFs, but when they are at the front, we're seeing them running well and being driven very well indeed. And Miles Rudman, I think, is a couple of cars clear of Will Gibson at the moment. There is Miles, having caught the front group already. Will Gibson about 4 or 5 cars back from him, so Rudman doing his best here to try and take the overall win on the day. Miles with a third and a second. Still plenty of time for this to pan out as Steve Whiteleg throws the 66 car on the inside at paddock, inside of Nathan Anthony. Bit of bump drafting and help there from Miles Rudman. They're going to go through. Mickle, the leader. Great drive from Gary Whiteleg in second place. Then it is Steve Whiteleg, his brother, in third. And here comes Miles Rudman. Miles down the inside of Steve Whiteleg. And where is Will Gibson? Fair way back is Will at the moment. Will Gibson is dicing with Chris Brockhurst, so has got some work to do here. And Rudman must fancy his chances of another outright victory. 20 Ben Higgins, great to see Ben in the mix for the first time. Problems for Stuart McAndrew, that a team car. Saw John T. Norman running it in rounds 1 and 2, and Stuart McAndrew takes over today. It's the car that scores the points, not the driver. Well, the drivers do score points, but towards the car's tally over the course of the season. Ben Higgins past Paul Simmons, followed by Will Gibson. Will's going to slingshot up the inside of the young Welshman there, goes through. Ben finding his feet off the front of the grid, having again completed his rookie weekend, starting in the rookie group at the back. Sean Smith chasing Nathan Anthony. Charlie Budd, Will Gibson is next up. John Mickle, I tell you what, Will's not actually that far away, and contact on Gary Whiteleg from his brother Steve. The two of them spin. That will be, again, I think, a debate in the Kentingham. Nathan Anthony goes out in sympathy with Sean Smith. I think the pair of them getting hooked up as well. I'm just a little bit shocked at what happened with the two Whiteleg brothers there. Marcus Pett involved as well. Marcus Pett having a miserable meeting. So Marcus are collected, or very nearly collected if he wasn't, by Paul Simmons, who was spinning. And one wonders whether there's oil down there again, which is possibly why Luke Simmons goes through, while we're seeing cars spinning off there. That might explain the tangle of the brothers. Marcus Pett does get going again, so might get some consolation points in this one. Good battle between the two rookies coming down from the top of Druids. And it's Ollie Schlupp in orange and blue ahead of Luke Simmons. Remember, Ben Higgins is the lead rookie in this one, but on points on the day it's going to be between Ollie Schlupp, who is top scorer, and again Steve Whiteleg having problems in the 66 car. I think there is very definitely some fluid down which is catching everybody out, so they're going to have to be a little bit circumspect. You can see you've already got a run of, I call it cement dust, but it isn't, but the treatment that goes down to soak the oil up. And poor old Steve Whiteleg goes off again. Marshall's waving green flags to say that all is well after that point. And Steve back on track. Not his race, but a strong weekend otherwise for Steve Whiteleg. Joint third in the championship with Sean Smith coming into today's round. Nick Bridgman still running strongly. Andy Bird ahead of him. And Daniel Clark in the mix as well. Andy disposes of Daniel Clark, and now Nick Bridgman, in fact, is passed by Daniel Clark. Paul Simmons lining up to have the next go as well. Still got the two rookies in front of that group. They're having a super battle here. Ollie Schlupp goes a little bit sideways. Luke Simmons decides to go off to avoid him, rejoins safely and side by side. So Luke Simmons gets the better of that battle. These two will be a super battle between the pair of them, hopefully, over the course of the season. Two brand new drivers to Legends Racing. And Andy Bird's going to have a go here, last year's rookie champion, against two of this year's title contenders. And Andy Bird having a look outside here. Will he go for the cutback? No, he's not at the moment. Maybe he hasn't quite got the car underneath him that he wants, but as we said earlier in the programme, at least he's back out there racing after a dismal end to the Alton Park weekend for Andy Bird, the reigning rookie champion. Bird on the outside of Nick Bridgman, Dan Clark in the mix as well. Paul Simmons there too. Gary Whiteleg's recovered actually fairly well in number 6 after leading well at the start of the original start and indeed the restart of the race. Miles Rudman chasing John Mickle, so it's Mickle leading from Miles Rudman, and now Will Gibson is up into third, albeit a rather distant third. This wide shot showing how stretched out things are. Back with our two rookie battlers here. Ollie Schlupp gets his nose in front, or back in front we should say, from Luke Simmons. Luke's going to repay the compliment here, goes down the inside at paddock. Andy Bird still keeping a watching brief on the pair of them there. Is next up, but John Mickle is out front. Fastest lap of the race currently with Miles Rudman, but John Mickle, well, it's one of the things you can do in Legends racing. If you have a bad heat, you get to start nearer the front, so you can get away. We know that John has been equal to Miles when we've seen the pair of them coming through the pack. And the quick steel car out front, but are we going to see a photo finish here from Miles Rudman and John Mickle? And Rudman closing up, Will Gibson a little bit too far back, I think, to interfere with these two at the moment. Across the line they go again, and it is just 1.2 miles to go here at Brands Hatch, and Rudman is closing in. John Mickle still the race leader. Rudman closes in as they go up to Druids. Wide line here, he's going to get as much momentum as he can as they go into Druids and close up and get himself on that back bumper of the number 4 car. But it's the Silver Machine out front. John Mickle, the Horsham driver, against the Midlander Miles Rudman, multi-champion against defending champion Long Cooper Straight. Mickle goes defensive, quite rightly. Half a gap there. Rudman again thinking about momentum and perhaps the run out of Clark Curve. But for the moment, it is through McLaren, up into Clearways. Mickle again has got that inside line covered. This is masterly defensive driving from John Mickle. But Rudman's going to have to try and get the slingshot run now. Is he going to go for it? Can he do it? It looks like it might be in the bag for Mickle. But we've said that before. It is John Mickle that takes the win. Miles Rudman in second. We wait for Will Gibson across the line there in third place, and I think has won the day. Chris Brockhurst is in 6th position. Ahead of him was Chris Needham and Charlie Budd. Then Luke Simmons ahead of Andy Bird, Nick Bridgman, Ollie Schlupp in 10th place. Well, we're disappointed for those drivers that have had mechanical failures and damage. And at the end, it was hard work that paid off. John Mickle taking the win from Miles Rudman and Will Gibson. Chris Needham 4th from Charlie Budd and Chris Brockhurst. Luke Simmons top rookie. Andy Bird next from Nick Bridgman and Ollie Schlupp, who rounded out the top 10 from Luke Takushis. And then Daniel Clark, Nathan Anthony in 13th from Marcus Pett and Sean Smith. Daniel Pauley 16th from Steve Whiteleg. James Newbury finishes in 18th place ahead of Kieran Beattie. Fastest lap goes to the number 1 car of Miles Rudman. That was on the penultimate lap. The meeting points are thus: Will Gibson winning the day by 30 points from Miles Rudman, John Mickle in third, Chris Brockhurst 4th from Sean Smith, and Steve Whiteleg. Marcus Pett next up from Chris Needham, Andy Bird and Ollie Schlupp.
So we catch up with the event winner. Of course, round number 3, it is the 57 of Will Gibson. Goodness me, you did that in very spectacular form, winning 2 of the 3 races to see off the day. Talk us through it from your side.
Yeah, that was chaotic from word go. Just lots of carnage. Yeah, we picked up a little bit of damage. We had a spin. But somehow managed to keep it going the right way eventually. Missed the white legs having a big crash together. It's too hard to explain. Too much happened.
Oh, fair enough. But I mean, what a way to really put a good march on your championship push. Obviously didn't go your way at all in Park, but I think this more than makes up for it. It's Pembrey next time. What are your thoughts towards that particular circuit?
We like Pembrey. It's I like it wet or dry. It's a good track for us. So hopefully we can go there, keep the momentum, and pick up some more podiums.
Miles Rudman continues to lead the championship. Will Gibson up from 5th to 2nd ahead of John Mickle, Sean Smith, with Steve Whiteleg 5th and Chris Needham in 6th. We're away to Wales. Thanks for watching today. We'll see you next time.